David. First, there was the 10 little Indians. Next, it was the 10 little Indians. The third song was the 10 little niggers, right? The song meaning is they're counting down from 10 to 1 Indian. They are unaliving Indians. 10 little, 9 little, 8 little Indians, 7 little, 6 little, 5 little. Crazy, right? Let's keep going. The song goes like 8 little Indians, they never knew of heaven. 1 Indian kicked the bucket, and now there are 7. 7 little Indians cutting up with tricks. 1 broke his neck, and now there are 6. We know the truth now.
Back in the days of slavery, the African American slaves would cook up a nice Thanksgiving turkey meal for their masters and entertain them throughout the night. They would force the slaves to entertain their friends and family, who would then vote on which slave was the best entertainer and which was worst. The loser were then sold at auction the next day, which they called Black Friday. The slave purchasers knew the day following Thanksgiving there would be an auction, so that go prepared for the sale. They would get up early every morning, hoping they would be the first one in line, similar to today's Black Friday. Hundreds would show up hoping they could be the first to purchase the slaves that were on sale. This was the one day out of the year that the slaves were reduced in price.
How chitterlings were familiar to some cultures in Africa. They were primarily introduced to the diets of enslaved Africans in the Americas during their enslavement. The plantation owners would often slaughter pigs for their meat, reserving the premium cuts for themselves. The leftover parts of the pig, feet, the head, the heart, the neck bones, and the intestines were often given to the enslaved. Hence, chitterlings or chitlins became a regular feature on the tables of the enslaved. Unlike other soul foods that had a common lineage in Southern cuisine, chitlins remained strong ties to their African heritage. This connection stemmed from the West African tradition of eating all edible parts of plants and animals. These foods helped maintain the enslaved survival in the United States, and they were forced to rely heavily on chitlins because they were both cheap and readily available. To make the most out of less desirable parts, the enslaved will often slow cook or boil their chitlins, usually adding inexpensive vegetables. This was an effective way to get many nutrients out of the meat as possible. Even though their diet was mainly filled with carbohydrates, this process shows how enslaved people were resourceful in making the most out of a tough situation and provides their resilience and ability to create nutritious meals out of leftovers. The preparation of chitlins would then evolve into an art form. The meticulous task of cleaning, preparing, and cooking. The cooking method was often slow and designed to tenderize the tough meat and sought to enhance the flavor with already available seasonings such as onions, garlic, chili, and vinegar. These cooking methodologies witnessed an evolution over time was based on the ingredients that they had on hand or regional leanings, displaying the creativity and adaptability of enslaved Africans in the face of stark adversity.